fabricated terror plots to pawn off on street drunks and homeless drug addicts so I could, quote, catch terrorists in the act. I miss the America where doctors could practice personalized and local medicine and weren't beholden to a stifling government system of mindless diagnostics and medical prescribing. I miss the America where taking pictures of government buildings in a public space didn't cause you to be immediately surrounded by armed government goons accusing you of domestic terrorist activities. I miss the America where you could be a rancher in Oregon and collect rainwater on your own acreage without being arrested and sent to prison. I miss the America where currency was still being backed by gold and the Federal Reserve couldn't magically print endless new money in a radical financial blowout experiment gone awry. I miss the America where you could grow vegetables in your front yard without fear of being arrested and thrown in jail for violating community guidelines. I miss the America where you could fly the American flag from your own apartment balcony without being cited and threatened by a property manager. I miss the America where people used to trade hard work for honest pay instead of merely voting for whatever political politician promises them the most entitlement handouts. I miss the America where cops didn't pull you over and seize all your cash under outlandish interpretations of civil forfeiture laws. I miss the America where your vote actually counted, where elections weren't systematically rigged by black box electronic voting machines. I miss the America where real truth-telling journalism was celebrated rather than condemned. Most of all, I miss the America where good, honest, hard-working, truth-telling citizens didn't have to live in constant fear of being accused, arrested, imprisoned, fined, or terrorized by their own government. God bless the America we used to have. May God help us once again to restore it. An excellent, excellent column by Mike Adams. And if you were tuned in to last night's show, you'll know how this touched me as deeply as it did. If you didn't catch that show, please go to Patriot-Radio-Show.com, scroll down on the front page, and read of the FBI raid that I was caught up in. Read of the tyrannical government that sent the FBI, the Texas Rangers, the U.S. Marshals, and sheriffs from 7 different counties to raid us, fingerprint us, photograph us, and take our cell phones and laptops just for peacefully assembling and not being pro-big government. My friends, stay with us. We've got a lot more show on the other half of the hour. We will be right back.
Tom O'Halloran, holding the line against tyranny from Washington, D.C.
Welcome back. This is the fastest hour on radio. This is the Wednesday night edition of the Patriot Radio Show. And as I go into this next segment, I'd like to again thank my sponsor, the Templar Knights, the Military Order of Solomon's Temple. As I go into this segment on Islam, on Muslims, on Sharia, on Obama, please keep in mind that this is a major fight. This fight has been going on since the Crusades. It is the same fight. They have been slaughtering infidels, non-believers, all this time. The Military Order of Solomon's Temple is not for everybody. But you don't need a sword and a shield if you have the heart, if you want to do something other than just listening to what's happening to your country. If you want to get involved and fight for freedom, fight for liberty, fight for Christianity, go to moost.org. First up, another video of Christians being slaughtered by ISIS. For 20-something Christians slaughtered this time, beheaded one after another. Why is it that Obama who claims to be a Christian, sure he is, I swear to Allah I'm a Christian. Obama, who claims to be a Christian, makes the comment, the United States condemns its despicable and cowardly murder of 21 Egyptian citizens in Libya. Why, if he is a Christian, wouldn't he be outraged that these Muslims are slaughtering Christians? You know why? Because he doesn't care. They are just Christians. One Palestinian boy gets shot. Of course, it was after the Palestinians lobbed rockets into Israel. One Palestinian boy gets shot, and Obama's on TV crying about the outrage. But 21 Christians being beheaded, he can't say the word Christians. And why is the Boston hub for violent extremism being touted as a working partner to fight violent extremism? The White House is partnering with a Boston-based hub of terrorism. The so-called Summit on Countering Violent Extremism comes as President Obama seeks formal authorization from Congress to wage a war on the Islamic State. But the terrorist-friendly Islamic Society of Boston, the ISB, which is known as a front for Islamic terrorist groups, operates mosques in and around Boston. Members of the anti-terrorist community are outraged that officials of the ISB will participate in discussions of anti-terrorism best practices. This meeting was today, by the way. In a recent Washington Times op-ed, Charles Jacobs and Leva Festatoff of Americans for Peace and Tolerance warned that the ISB and its political arm, the Muslim American Society, are seen as go-to groups for law enforcement and civic enforcement partnerships. They have long, deep links to extremists who are either in jail, in flight from federal authorities, or have been killed during terrorist attacks. The group also ran a half-page ad about ISB's participation in the summit in the Washington Times under the headline, "Why is the Boston Hub for Violent Extremism?" Social media guru Ahmad Amasora, who is now the chief propagandist for the Islamic State, regularly attended the ISB's Cambridge Mosque. According to the Washington Post, his father was a vice president of the regularly attended Muslim American Society of Boston. The FBI suspects Asurama is in charge of the Islamic State's slick English language propaganda campaign that produces videos of beheadings and atrocities. Long before the Islamic State arrived in the world scene, though, the Islamic Society of Boston had already long been a hotbed of terrorist activity. According to Discover the Networks, the ISB was founded by Hamas and Hezbollah supporter Alamoudi, who in 2004 was sentenced to 23 years in prison on terrorism-related charges. The ISB's Cambridge Mosque is run by the Muslim American Society, which federal prosecutors say is a front for the Muslim Brotherhood. Saudi benefactors helped fund a sister mosque, the Islamic Society of Boston Cultural Center, in Boston's Roxbury neighborhood. And remember the Boston Marathon brothers Tamirian and Doksar Tarzanov. They worshipped at ISB's Cambridge Mosque as well, as did Tarek Mahana. Mahana received terrorist training in Yemen and intended to use automatic weapons to inflict mass casualties in a shopping mall near Boston. In 2012, Mahana received a 17-year for conspiring to aid al-Qaeda. Yusuf Kadwari, the spiritual leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, was a founding trustee in the ISB. He's urged elimination of Jews and the murder of homosexuals. An Interpol warrant is pending. Afia Siddiqui, also known as the Lady Al-Qaeda, was serving 86 years in prison for attempted murder when she opened fire on the FBI. She also attended the ISB mosque. These people are the same people Obama is partnering with to stop Islamic terrorism. It's a sham. It is a sham. He's got these same people telling him he can't teach the FBI how to spot Islamic terrorists. These very same people have taken the words Islamic terror, jihad, Muslim Brotherhood. They've cleansed all federal documents and all federal training manuals of these words. Our agents can no longer fight something when they cannot even mention the name. Barack Hussein Obama has done everything he has been able to do to further the Islamic agenda. Frosty Woolridge this week, he's quoting John Wesley, 1703 to 1791. John Wesley stated, "Ever since the religion of Islam appeared in the world, the espousers of it have been as wolves and tigers to all that fell into the merciless paws, and grinding them with their iron teeth. That numberless cities are razed from the foundation, and only their name remaining. That many countries, which once were as the garden of God, are now desolate and wilderness, and that so many once numerous and powerful nations are vanished from the earth. Such was and is this day the rage, the fury, the revenge of these destroyers of mankind." This was written by a man that lived 1703 to 1791. If he was so smart back then, why is our government so stupid today? Why are we so lame as to let our government get away with this? These people have said that they are here to slaughter the infidels. They are here to destroy our Constitution and replace it with Sharia law. These are not my words. These are their words. You have to believe them. You have to believe them. If your neighbor said that he would like to come into your house at night and slaughter you and your children as you lay in bed, would you leave your door open? I pray that you're not as ignorant as our government is being. And I pray that you are not as lazy about getting involved and stopping this from happening as we have been to date. Tune into Friday's show. Friday is 1 full hour of what's happening in Islam. This is happening around the world. We know what percentage of the population needs to turn Muslim before the rioting in the streets starts, before the slaughter of the infidels starts on a mass scale. Jim Brewer stated this week, "I personally believe that all rational, unhyphenated Americans have always understood and do understand our enemies. Those enemies want to destroy our nation, not just economically, but spiritually, militarily, and complete annihilation of all Christian Judeo principles, values, and traditions that our forefathers and so many of us have fought, bled, and died for." And yet Obama continues to roll out the red carpet, volunteering to bring as many more Islamists into this country as he can possibly bring in. We're expecting 100,000 new refugees this